So good afternoon, everyone. The last session before dinner or drinks, and I think we're probably getting pretty close to all wanting a drink by now, aren't we? Especially now the temperature's gone up. Everyone's getting really comfortable now. Everyone really wants to sleep at this point. I was freezing earlier, and now I definitely want to sleep. So it is my great pleasure. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk a little bit about the future consumer. And this is it's got a little bit of stargazing, but at the end, this is a call to action. And I think actually, it's been a privilege to listen to some of the great sessions so far today, and I think it really touches on some of these different points. So this is a bit of a rounded view, bit of a rounded attempt to look at this. And there was a comment earlier. Of here come the telcos. Oh goodness me! Here's another one. Here's Ericsson. You know, an enormous vendor, 118,000 people in 180 countries, a massive company. Why am I on this stage? Why am I here? I don't know why I'm asking that question. I got asked to come. But this is it, a little bit. Ericsson fundamentally believes in this industry as a growth industry and as an opportunity. In my next point, I'm going to address why, because it's addressing a number of different industries. And Ericsson's been basically investing in this area for quite some time. This is the only introduction slide. Don't worry, we're not going to get too much into this lovely stuff. But it was just to put a bit of context to the fact of why is someone a big telecoms vendor here, because we happen to be a very large media vendor now. So back in 2007, which is where I came from, back in Tamberg Television, if all of you know that, compression vendor, so an encoding vendor. Part of the Technicolor group, we started moving into managed services. We've had Microsoft up here already, so we bought MediaRoom, now the biggest IPTV platform off Microsoft. Azuki that was doing OTT, Redby. I'm sure everyone in this room has heard of Redby Media. So Ericsson bought Redby Media to get into broadcast managed playout. We now manage the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, 500 TV channels. Extremely proud of that heritage. And then latterly at IBC, we announced the acquisition of Invivio. And really two cornerstones. It's fascinating cornerstones because we've had the discussion here about hardware and software, about broadcast vendors, about the shift to software, about software as a service models. I mean, pretty much is a beautiful timeline to represent that. Ericsson started off buying one of the largest hardware vendors in video encoding, and the latest acquisition it's just made is a software encoding vendor doing the same thing. So, beautiful bookends really in terms of as a metaphor for what's happening in our industry. But what is happening overall? This is Ericsson's broader vision of something it calls the network society. And everyone's thinking, well, what does this mean? What is a network society? Or Internet of Everything, if you like, in some other context. And what we've really been doing, the network society is underpinned by three things: mobility, broadband, and cloud services. And if you look at this nice little simple chart, the key message here is we've moved beyond deploying the infrastructure of the internet, the infrastructure of cloud services, the infrastructure of the web. So we've been building. We've been from the installation phase. We are now, rolling out the deployment phase. And what's happening, of course, is mass disruption to every single industry. Think of taxis, think Uber, think any industry you choose to think of has been disrupted by the fundamentals of the internet. But it's more than the internet. It's the capabilities that underpin the internet. As it says here, mobility and connectivity has moved from serving a few basic use cases to transforming the future of every industry and society. It is, and it's only just beginning. It's accelerating. That might sound again like another scary message for everyone in this room, but it's not. It's opportunity. This is opportunity. We have to grasp this, and I think we can. So let's look forward a little bit to 2020. Some of these predictions that we made, and John quoted one of our predictions already in terms of that. So by 2020, there will be 26 billion connected devices, on the road to 50 billion connected devices. That sounds a lot of devices considering us people. This is the Internet of Things. This is the Internet of Everything. This is the smart fridge, the connected watch, the traffic lights that tell the governments when the light bulb's blown. This is everything being connected that should be connected logically, and it'll have a lot of use cases. Out of those 26 billion, 15 billion of those will be video enabled. And we all know what these devices are. This is the tablet, this is the smartphone, this is, maybe it is the internet connected fridge where you are going to watch some content on your fridge, as we've already heard today. And it's already changing how people consume media. We already know that. So we see, for example, the kids' bedroom TV now is the tablet. There is no children's TVs in bedrooms anymore. They're tablets. They like the tablet. They like the touch experience of the tablet. And I say here the set-top of today is irrelevant. That's not meant to be a controversial statement, but look at one of the latest categories of connected devices is these tiny little sticks, the Roku stick, the Amazon Fire Stick, these little Chromecasts. That's the future of the set-top box ultimately, because from our customers' point of view, the TV service providers, the platform operators, set-top boxes are a big pain. It's one of the biggest investment aspects they have. And today they're very big, they're very thick, they have large thick clients, they've hard disks in them spinning away, you have large amounts of tuners so we can time shift TV and record TV. Perfect for today. It's not where the future's going by any means. Another statistic then, by 2020, 70%, this is going up so fast, this is from our latest mobility report, 70% basically of all traffic in a mobile phone network, in a cellular network, is going to be video. I mean, we're building video networks. We're not building networks anymore. We're not building an internet anymore. We're building a video internet because fundamentally video is the scaling and dimensioning factor for everything to do with the internet. And that's a massive challenge for wireless operators, for network operators. We already need solutions to try and mitigate some of that because this is massive cost. I mean, who cares less? I mean, we, the consumer, just want to watch YouTube. We just want to watch Netflix. We want great quality of experience. It's now expected that it just works. Who's paying for that to try and make it just work? That's a big challenge, basically. And this is why we start to see the road to 5G, the road to the next generations of networks. But also aspects like broadcasting in cellular networks. If we're going to have super popular content, and there's always popular content in TV, how are we going to handle that? Well, it may be broadcasting in some aspects of networks. So that number is only going to get bigger. I mean, 70% is pretty much saturation already, and it's only going to keep going up. And that's just wireless networks. Of course, in fixed networks, it's already extremely high. And another trend, another key part. By 2020, in advanced markets, which has basically got broadband penetration, 50% of all content consumed will have shifted to on-demand and time shift. So we're not talking the death of linear TV, we're talking the erosion of the value of scheduled linear TV towards on-demand and time shift. And we reach that balance point. So finally, because clearly scheduled linear television is how most people consume TV today. The Netflix effect, it's still tiny. On-demand is still small, but it's growing very quickly. So this is not just pure erosion of linear television, this is also growth in overall consumption hours as well. So the two things are adding together for the fact that half of all content consumed will have moved to on-demand, and half of it will be live and linear. And the key piece to take away here from all of our studies that we do, and I'm going to touch on our studies in a second, is live is still incredibly important. So live television is never going away, and the schedule is shifting more towards personalization and convenience. So that's 2020. And we've got this network society coming, if it's not already here. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean for this industry, our customers? And as I say, I think the media value chain is forever disrupted. I'm not sure we can put this back together again. I think we just have to work out, like we heard in the previous session, it's new relationships, it's new ways of forging partnerships. The guys on the left, the content owners and the broadcasters, want globalization of content. They want to go mass market. They want to build their brands globally. They want to leverage this fabric of the network society, this internet connectivity, to deliver media direct. Why shouldn't they? We've heard about big data. You don't get big data. You do not get the consumption data if you're a content owner or broadcaster unless you have a better, closer, tighter relationship to the consumer at the end. And that's what our customers want. And that's why we're starting to see these OTT models. We're starting to see the apps being built. And we're also starting to see new entrants appear to aggregate this content. What is Apple TV if it's not a new way of aggregating some more online content? So more people are trying to come in and offer an aggregation service to this trend of an explosion of content going online. And it's certainly not a great consumer experience by any means. All this content suddenly online in walled garden apps. It's not a brilliant experience by any means. And on the right-hand side, so the pay TV service provider industry, telecom operators, cable TV service providers, satellite TV service providers, traditional pay TV, they're having a tough time as well. Because fundamentally, the upstream content owners and broadcasters are now starting to bypass them, devaluing them. The new entrants, the Netflix, Hulus and the others, have now just recalibrated the consumer expectation, we will see, of what television to pay for is actually like. If I'm paying $10 a month for Netflix, it seems to work on all my devices, it's got good enough content, why am I paying $150 a month to Comcast, or to Time Warner, or to Charter, or to whoever else, or Virgin, or Sky? Because I'm getting all this content I don't watch. I'm getting all these services I don't use. I mean, what value is that? So it's challenging. It really is challenging to establish that value again, continue to re-establish that value. Because the person on the right-hand side of this picture is getting pretty fickle. And they can be quite fickle, because it's much easier for them to change, adapt, shift, do what they want to do. The power is shifting towards the right, if it ever wasn't on the right, which is us at home choosing what we want to watch, and we're still in the content business. It always has been the content business. So for me, this is the big challenge, and our big challenge, of course, is to help solve the problems of these different customer types. And how do we go about doing that? So the consumer, the person on the right-hand side, we do annual consumer research, representative of about 680 million people each year. Big study, 20 markets that we do it in. Let me take you through some of the stats from our 2015. This is our latest report. So we published this. This is freely available. So since 2011 to this year, streaming on demand, so on-demand streaming of content has gone up to 50% daily. So daily, people tell us 50% of those people we talk to are streaming on-demand content every single day. That's a pretty big leap since 2011. Binging at 87%. Probably no surprise, we all know the binge viewing trend, but really high. So this is once a week. If you have a SVOD service, a Netflix, a Hulu, an Amazon, if you're an SVOD subscriber, 87% of them are watching more than one episode a week. Massive number. Huge number. Millennials. We'll always talk about, will millennials grow up? Will they change their behavior? Will they not? But millennials today, over 50% of all their content consumption is on smartphones and devices. They're not using the big TV. Well, they are, but not for the majority of their viewing. The majority of their viewing is on their terms, on their devices. So what do we do about that? How do we address that? And as I say, as an industry, will it shift? Will we all become boring and old and have jobs and responsibilities, and as you say, just want to sit in front of the TV, slump with our dinner and go, watch the news, entertain me? We don't know yet. The last two really worry me. The last two are for our call to action, I think, to our industry, to help our industry. 50% of all linear TV viewers are frustrated every single day with finding something of value to watch. That's a bad situation to be in, a really bad situation to be in. Because what it means is others are solving that problem, or others will solve that problem, or this is where I come back to that perceived value issue. If I can't find anything to watch and it's free, I've just wasted 5-10 minutes of my time, my dinner's gone cold, I'm flicking through the EPG, I've gone through 15 pages, all that's happened is my dinner's got cold or the cat's eaten something. But if I'm paying $100 a month for that, that's really not a good situation to be in. So we have to help solve that problem, and I think we can. But the last one adds up to me as well, to something we need to think about. The Net Promoter Score of all the new entrants, so if you're Amazon, again, you're Netflix, you're others, the Net Promoter Score of these new entrants is much higher than the traditional players. So there's a real pressure point for our customers, and as an industry, as vendors, innovators, here's our opportunity to really help as a partnership model to solve these problems, because the pressure point is now, really is now. So, simple to say, very hard to do. This is what we think is basically should be printed out and stuck on the boardroom of every one of our customers, and should be our mission statement, I think, fundamentally, which is the consumer is in charge, the consumer is doing the voting, making the decisions, and I think we should have, a single-minded goal here, delight the TV consumer every single day. And I think here, the everyday one is probably the scary one. I think who in the room thinks delighting a TV consumer is what we're in the industry of doing? Especially in the content side, we probably are entertaining, informing, having fun. So delighting a TV consumer, I think, is where the industry should get to. The one that I think is the really scary one, every day. Because our industry does not have, and our customers don't have, the platforms, the technology, the operational models, the mentality, the mindsets to innovate every single day and roll that out to a customer. I mean, we can all come up with great ideas, but we roll things out in months, tens of months. software versions, it's not, and if you look at, again, the new entrants are using web methodologies, web mentalities. They've built new organizations around continual innovation and service delivery. That's what we're all up against. And that's a big challenge for our customers as well. We have to help them in that. So we broke this down a little bit. I was going to talk you through a little bit to 4 primary areas, 4 things that we think might help, and maybe 4 things that us as an industry we can wrap around. Easy to use words, and again, really hard things probably to go and crack. So seamless experiences. I think customers already, the end consumer, the end viewer, probably already expects things to be completely seamless in media consumption. Why can't I watch high quality content on the train? To be honest, I can't even make phone calls on the train. So why can't I watch stream video on the train? Nobody assumes you can watch stream video on the train. Why can't I continue watching a show at home after getting home from commuting? So why can't I pause it on one thing, session transfer to my TV? Any possible scenario you can imagine for video consumption will be coming. So why doesn't it just work? Why doesn't it just work? Why isn't it seamless? Because the delivery infrastructure isn't ready, the APIs, the control platforms aren't yet ready. There's a huge amount of technological issues to solve making experiences truly seamless. And I think especially if we're shifting video delivery to the internet, there's a whole load to do about making video networks engineered ready for that capability. The second, personalized discovery. Again, very simple to say. I think the programmatic recommendation of content that just you and I love, especially the mood we're in, just entertain me, or I want to search, or I love this actor. I mean, there's great experiments going on. I think there's great deployments going on in the industry. So I think we're making great progress here. But I still think there's a huge, huge, huge way to go in terms of very intelligent, programmatic recommendation of content. But it's going to have to be cracked. If 50% of people are frustrated with linear TV today, every day, this has got to be top on the agenda, isn't it? Personalization. And we all know the personalization opportunity, of course, is bigger than just recommending content. The commercial opportunity, of course, is recommending advertising, recommending merchandising, all kinds of other things. And we've heard about big data again today, so I think plays a key part. Analytics is huge here. Immersive content, the third pillar for me, immersive content. There's 2 trends. One inside immersive content is consumers want to immerse themselves in the stuff they love. And that's the binge viewing trend. We've seen that. So we have to help that shift to on-demand. We have to help that accessibility to the shows, the stuff they love. And also the things that their social friends will have recommended, or what is their peer group watching, what are celebrities watching. We have to enable that as well. But the other part of immersive content, of course, that we all get excited about in the industry, every time we go to a conference or a show, is talking about next generation television formats. So Ultra HD, is it going to be 4K or 8K? Should we wait? Do we need high dynamic range? Will the screens be ready? All of this stuff. But it is a huge opportunity here because consumers, every study we do, consumers understand quality, picture quality this is. They understand picture quality and they're prepared to pay for it. Every shift we looked at. All right, 3D was a bit of a blip on the radar that none of us will talk about, but standard definition to high definition to Ultra HD, people will pay for the premium. We were very proud to be able to launch the BT Sport Ultra HD channel with BT Sport. Big challenge to do that. The first channel in the UK to do Ultra HD. And the last one, this is the trickiest one probably because this is not the technological one, but there is technologies underpinning this. We've heard a little bit about the shift to software. We've heard about some of these different models. To be constantly evolving, you need cloud. You need software. You need development operations and cloud ops. Our customers are going to be using these models so they roll out features every single day. They don't try a piece of software and do it in 6 months' time. They've got to roll out new features. They've got to experiment. They've got to listen to the consumer and think, we'll try this, we'll try that. What works, what doesn't? So our platforms, our software, our technologies, got to integrate together. I've got to use these new next generation web technologies, IP technologies, software technologies, and cloud technologies to make our customers ultra agile. So they are the 4 elements of consumer delight. So for me, this is, I think, our role as an industry and as a vendor, something that we're focused on at Ericsson, certainly, is turning consumers into their greatest fans. We heard about fans before. That's the opportunity ahead of us for our customers, to enable our customers to do this, is this picture here. This is an emotive, amazing industry that we're in, and we have to help everyone, our customers, delight consumers, viewers, and make them ultra loyal, ultra sticky, ultra fans. Thank you.
Simon, thanks very much. We are running a little bit late. Are there any questions from the floor? Again, it's very difficult to see, isn't it?
It is. I will be at dinner, by the way, if anyone
well,
wants
I was going to say that. The debate will go. Oh,
friends.
we've got one here. Adrian again.
I'll ask the question that I didn't get a chance to ask to the last panel, because we got closed down early. Customer delight in our industry, real customer delight, is incredibly dependent on all of us, our side of the industry, working together to provide a cooperatively delivered, delightful customer experience. And I really wonder, and you sort of said the same thing just now, and I really wonder if this industry and other industries involved are actually ready to provide a seamless customer experience. I mean, can we eliminate competition with each other so completely that we'll all collaborate to provide a better customer experience? Or are there always going to be companies that will opt out of that and try and do something unique and win for themselves the profit and the business success that involves? And I really wonder, having heard it several times today, whether that degree of collaboration is a pipe dream in our industry, given how much competition and competitiveness and actually fairly negative emotions that a number of people in this room have had for each other, to be honest. I mean, we always talk about how friendly we are, and we are in occasions like this. But when it comes to winning business, we're pretty damn competitive in this industry, and it tends to be a very exclusive competitiveness, and we've suffered so often from people not wanting to take part in this kind of thing simply because they want to achieve customer lock-in rather than share customers with their colleagues. So what do you think?
Good question. Would you like to?
It's a good question. I mean, I think we heard from Darren from Sky that lock-in is not what they're looking for in terms of vendors anymore. I think there'll always be market forces and intellectual property lawyers that want to make sure that companies innovate enough that you build up intellectual property and that you also win commercially. So I think there'll be elements where you should differentiate. People should strive to innovate and strive to add more value to a customer than your competitor, because we live in market forces times, I think we should. But there's elements where we should get faster about getting around certain common topics so we can move an industry on. You know, if we talk about Ultra HD or 4K, 8K, high dynamic range, I think the industry is great for that. I think the TV industry is good. Maybe, I don't know if it needs to get faster or better, but I think those forums exist because it's the big shifts that our customers have the biggest pain points around. And it's the biggest shifts that drive the investment that we all live off of. Standard definition to high definition. You look at the compression shift, the set-top box shift, the big elements in our industry are the big spikes that cause the massive investment cycles in our industry. So I think if we get behind the ones that will move the needle and extract the biggest amount of investment, then those ones I think should make sense. But I still think vendors are going to have to innovate enough to be the vendor chosen rather than be the vendor in the background.
And I guess what represents competitive advantage changes over time. So we've sometimes got traditional views of what we've got to keep close to us. In the future, you might give that away because competitive advantage comes from something completely different. So times are changing in that respect. Simon, thank you. One more round of applause for Simon.